There's a couple ways to graph. If you just look at the y-intercept, it's -1, so the graph has to cross the y-axis at -1. So A does that. B crosses at +1, so you would know B is not an answer. The A could be, and then the slope is up 2 over 1, 2 over 1. So from here, if you go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, you stay on the line the whole time. So this is the graph. Now it asks you to plot 4 points. If you want to graph that way, you just pick the values. So we're making a table here of x and y values. Pick what you want x to be, and you can just pick any number you want. It's nice to pick small numbers. You can pick anything though, really. And what you do is you plug that number in for x and solve for what y would be. So when x is 0, y is 0 minus 1. When x is 1, y equals 2 times 1, so 2 minus 1. When it's 2, when x is 2, we have 4 minus 1. When x is 10, we're going to have 20 minus 1. When x is 15, you're going to have 30 minus 1. And you can also pick values for y as well. You don't have to just choose for x. In some equations, it's easier to pick for one or the other. But just pick values and then solve for the other one. There will be some situations where you don't get a nice point when you pick a value. For example, if I pick y is 0, you're going to get 0 equals 2x minus 1. Add 1 to both sides. Divide by 2. So now x is 1/2. So that would be one where you say, oh, that's not a very nice point to plot. So you'd pick a new number and start over. But then you just plot those points and connect the line, connect the dots, and you have the line. For number 56, we're trying to graph this. It tells you to use the x and y intercept, and that is the best method to graph here. Similar to what we just did. When x is 0, that's going to give us the y-intercept, and when y is 0, that'll give us the x-intercept. So just plug a 0 in here for x. 5x plus 6y equals 60. So if x is 0, you're just going to have that part cancel out. So 6y equals 60 means y is 10. And plug a 0 in for y, you'd have that part cancel out. You'd have 5x equals 60. So x is 12. And so you just plot those two points and connect the dots. So x is 0, y is 10. X is 0, y is 10. And then x is 12, and y is 0. There's your line. And 62. Write an equation in the slope-intercept form for this line. So slope-intercept form, we're looking for y equals, whoa, got a little carried away there. Y equals m x plus b. And I colored the m and the b in blue to make them stand out. Those are the two numbers you need to figure out. So your equation is going to be y equals some number times x plus some number. And that's what you're trying to figure out. So you need to know 2 points to do this. We have our line. They gave us 2 points here. So this is -1, 0. That was a -1. Another point is 0, -2. And whenever you want to find the slope, you subtract the 2 y values on top and subtract the 2 x values on bottom. So in this equation, we're going to have the 0 minus the -2 on top, and then the x value subtracted on bottom. So you have 0 minus -2, +2, and -1 minus 0, -1. Simplify that down, it just comes out to -2. So we're halfway there. We got one of our values. Instead of an m, we're going to write negative 2x. And now we need to figure out what b is. And to figure that out, you just plug either one of these points into the equation to see what b would have to be. Or, b is going to be the y-intercept. So where does this cross the y-axis at? Negative 2. So b should come out to negative 2, and let's check that. We'll plug this in. So the x is negative 1. So we have y equals negative 2 times negative 1 plus b, and the y value is 0. So I actually should have wrote a 0 over here. Plug in a 0 for y and a negative 1 for x. And you solve that down, 0 equals 2 plus b, subtract 2 from both sides, negative 2 equals b. So now that we know negative 2 equals b, we would plug our negative 2 in there, and that's our equation in slope-intercept form.